right, welcome back to Two Idiots Doing a Sports Podcast. I am Daniel, co-host Nate on the other side. Um, gonna do our normal stuff like normal. Our immaculate grid, pickle, batter up, randomized championship. We're gonna not finish, but we're coming down to I think it's the last six or seven at this point, or no, eight. Wow,
Last eight, yeah.
math is
You're
way
good.
off. We're coming down to our last eight, so we have this week and the next week, and then we get done with the NFL, and we'll move on to another one. I think we said NBA.
NBA.
Yeah.
We'll do NBA.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're coming down. It's getting heated in that one. We're getting into a lot of either very hated fan bases or very controversial fan bases. So it'll be an interesting next couple of weeks. See where teams come off the board and honestly where teams fall to. Then we're gonna hop into some MLB, NHL, and NBA. NHL Free Agency started over this past week, maybe week and a half at this point. Some pretty big signings, whether going elsewhere or staying wherever they were currently. And then for the MLB, All-Star rosters were revealed. We will go through a quick little list of those. Talk about, do we think anyone got snubbed? Did anyone make it that probably shouldn't have? Spoiler alert, we have people that we think should have made it, or people that are reserves that we think are starters, or should have been starters. And then we'll talk about the home run derby and some of those participants, and maybe only half the field has been released, but maybe we'll make a quick little guess on who we think is going to win it all. And then we have some NBA updates. Trades happen, some signings. And Summer League started this week, so maybe a little bit of updates. Cooper Flag has not played yet. The Mavs have not played, so
Washed.
no update on him and his crew, but Ace Bailey did play in his, and so we'll talk about that game specifically. So, we're going to start off what we always start off.
We'll start off the Immaculate Grid, but first, quick shout out. Coming to Kansas City in a month.
Yeah.
Going to see the Royals White Sox. So shout out to the Royals for giving 50% off for my birthday. So it'll be sweet. So we wanted to see the Rangers. They unfortunately fell on weekday, the Monday through Thursday, 18th through the 21st or 2nd. But that will be fun. So we will bring that up once that game comes up. So, highlight how that game goes. If the Royals lose, Mickey Mouse franchise washed. Ship Bobby Witt, even though it's post-trade deadline at this point. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse organization. So, but yeah, also really quickly, we need to mention the fact that we are still on a quest to prove we're smarter than the average analyst. This week is Dan Orlovsky. Buddy got an extension, and I actually don't mind him. I think he's entertaining. He's had some interesting undefeated takes, particularly with, I think he did it with New England and Kansas City. So, bold strategy, Cotton. Did not work out. Stick to running out of bounds at the back of the end zone, buddy.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Dan. Had to catch a stray, but of all the ones that we mentioned, I like you the most. So, if that says anything. But, yeah, we will move over really quickly to Immaculate Grid. I mean, really quickly. I'm sure it'll take us a hot minute. So hopefully we can lock in. So let's go. You know what? I'm going to do something based. We're going with today's grid.
Oh.
Boom! So, I kind of like it, and maybe they probably did that on purpose because the All-Star game's coming up. But for the rows, we have Athletics, Cubs, and Phillies. Columns, Guardians, Mets, and All-Star. So, I mean, come on. Gotta go with my glorious king, Coco Crisp. Gotta go with him. 21% is actually stunningly
crazy.
high. But that's okay. And I'm sure this one will be high too, but come on.
You could
It's a
also
drive into deep left field. Back goes Upton. Back near the wall. It's out of here. Bartolo has done it. How's Bartolo 5%
That's
for
crazy.
A's Mets, but for A's Guardians, Coco's 21? I know Coco's an amazing name and he was a solid player, but like Bartolo literally has a Cy Young, albeit controversial. A lot of people dispute he should have won that, but whatever. So now we could do A's All-Star, or we could come back to that. I mean, Cubs, Guardians could go back to Matthew Boyd again, technically. But you know what? Daniel, get ready for me to drop you a little ball knowledge here. Kenny Lofton was a Chicago Cub, so... And turns out people were thinking Kenny Lofton. I can't believe Matthew Boyd isn't... I didn't want to do Matthew Boyd twice, because that would be cheesing the system, but whatever. I guess people remember him for that. I'm going to drop a little bit of ball knowledge here, too. I believe Cliff Floyd was a Met at some point. So, boom! There we go. 1%. That's what I'm talking about. Cliff Floyd was a Chicago Cub in 07 or 08. I do remember, or it's roughly around that time. It might have been a little bit after, but he was a Cub, chat. So, Cubs All-Star. That could be fun. I'm going to come back to that in a minute, though. Phillies Mets, Phillies Guardians. I should probably let you chime in on one of these because I kind of got a little carried away here. So, you thinking anybody off the top of your head for either one of these teams?
Didn't Jim Thome play for?
He did play for both, so we could do that.
I also
That
feel
will
like
be
that's-
really high, but
Yeah.
you know what? We're gonna do it anyway. Are we gonna get a good score? No, but we haven't.
No,
Oh.
don't use it. Cliff Lee.
Are you kidding me? I literally highlighted him. I highlighted him to delete it, and it said I clicked it. This mouse makes me so angry.
Oof.
That ticks me off. Well, could we do Cliff Lee for All-Star? You think? No, that's...
Did he have to make it with the team?
Yes.
Interesting.
I mean, Roy Halladay probably did it too.
Wait.
Could do Cole Hamels, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard.
I mean, for the
Team.
Phillies, that have Richie Ashburn, Pedro Martinez.
Did Pedro do it with Philly?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, why don't we just do Pedro for Phillies Mets? It's gonna be popular, but
Well, I mean, Richie Ashburn also played for the Mets.
oh, did he? Okay,
Yeah.
let's do Richie Ashburn. That's a certified ball pick, chat. Let's go. So we both have.
The only
okay.
reason I know who Richie Ashburn is because I play with him in MLB The Show. So
Nice.
yeah,
There you go.
I didn't know who he was, but the dude's a beast, at least in the show. I mean, in real life, because the dude played like 50 teams.
I have to do this really quick. Kosuke Fukudome, baby. Yeah. He was an all-star his rookie year. Let's go. I've already mentioned him before, and it might have actually been a previous one for Cubs All-Star, but I had to bust it out. A's All-Star and Phillies All-Star. We should get 9 for 9 at least. So it's just how far back do we want to go to try to knock these out?
I feel like
Did probably Fingers do it? Probably, right?
yeah, I mean, he was one of the most dominant
We
closers of his
we
time.
haven't mentioned him yet, and so if it, we have to. Yeah, 1%. The disrespect to our boy Raleigh Fingers. Look at that freaking stash, chat. Come on, disgusting. But I'm sorry. 16% knew Kenny Lofton played for Chicago. Whatever.
I would say the most popular ones are going to be like Schwarber, Turner,
Yeah.
Bryce Harper because they're there. I would say we're probably safe with like a Cliff Lee, a Cole Hamels. I wouldn't do Ryan Howard. He's gonna probably be another big one. Chase
It's gonna be a big
Utley
one. Just
also would probably still be a big one.
didn't JT
Jimmy
do it?
Rollins, did he ever?
He had to have. He won a. I'm pretty sure he won MVP at some point,
I
or he was
just
close to it.
I feel like Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, or Rollins are gonna be our best options.
I'm just trying to think. It's like going back. Mike Schmidt, obviously,
I feel like he's also very
he's going to be really high.
I feel like the Phillies have so many well-known people that if you go a Cliff Lee or Cole Hamels, they're not remembered as often.
I think we haven't mentioned Cole Hamels yet, so I'm just going to do Cole
The
Hamels.
Ranger legend.
Darn right. And Atlanta Braves legend. I think Cole Hamels is going to be 10-15% though. Oh, what? That is disrespectful. We got a rarity score of 78 despite having 3 guys above 20%. That's pretty impressive.
I genuinely just feel like, yeah,
Bryce makes
is
sense.
only 11.
You know what? Okay, that actually makes sense. Thinking about it, that's ridiculous. Kenny and Coco were the highest.
That's crazy.
That's stupid. Whatever. But I guess it does make sense. As you mentioned, the Phillies have a lot of big names. So, like, people are going to guess different, like, guess between the split. So I actually don't know if Ryan Howard is going to be as high as we think it would be. But look, it's 62% get Cubs, Indians. Guys, Matthew Boyd! What are we doing? Why is that? How are people pulling out Kenny Lofton out? I'm sorry. I thought I was a genius pulling Kenny Lofton. I guess not. I guess it's common ball knowledge.
Do people just forget that he played for the Guardians last year? Maybe.
I guess. I mean, you could argue recency bias.
Even though he literally pitched in the playoffs for him.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. You can't think of last year, but people can think of. Let me pull this up really quick. I'm pretty sure Kenny Lofton was only a Cub for 1 year in 2003. He might have been 04. He might have been there in 04. Because I think he was a part of. We acquired him via a trade. You know what? Maybe people think of it because he's from East Chicago, technically. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Yeah, look at this. We got him from Pittsburgh, by the way. He's on a lot more teams than I thought. Holy crap. He was a Ranger? What?
That's crazy. What?
We need to bust out our Kenny Lofton Rangers Cubs knowledge next time, I guess. Holy crap. I remember his Philly days and Dodgers, I don't. But yeah, he was a Cub in only 03. How in the world are people telling me 16% are guessing Kenny Lofton? That makes me angry. I understand Coco Crisp. Like, I get that. Kenny Lofton. And before people think, like, my crash out here, Kenny Lofton's a legend, all right? I'm not, like, dogging on him like he's some bum. He literally played 56 games for the Cubs. 56! How are you guys not naming Matthew Boyd? I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. We still had a great score, so 78 is pretty solid. Those were easier, though. Me knowing Cubs pretty well and All-Star is pretty simple, so it wasn't like the hardest one. But hopefully at some point we get one in the top 50. That might be one of our higher scores. But for now, I'm going to stop ranting and move on to MLB Pickle. I can find it in my tabs here. Why is it? There we go. And chat, I'm going to shock the world when I don't type in Cal Riley first. Darn right, I'm glazing my boy here. I drafted him, waited him all this time, throws a quality start in his first start since 2023. My boy deserves the recognition. And he got us 3 categories. So he got us, he's hits lefty, throws righty. That's a little weird. It's usually the opposite if you're not going to be both. And he's American. So it looks like he... Josh Smith, okay. That's interesting. And he's... Okay. AL West. So NL West has to be NL. No, it has to be AL. It has to be AL.
Yeah, it's
Um,
How old is Parker Meadows?
I think he's about the same age. Might be a little younger. Okay, Parker. We'll go Parker. Dang, that was a good guess. 25 is it, but he's AL East. Uh, I was gotta remember. He's too old.
How old is Varsho?
29, too old.
And he plays center?
I guess we both we gotta take into account that it's not center.
I thought he played left field last year.
I know it's not Jason Dominguez. I'm just curious. Okay, he's 25. I'm just trying to think of names right now. Could it be a Tampa Bay guy? Junior
Gunnar
too young.
Henderson. How old is Henderson?
24.
Too young. But he's.
I think we also guessed
How old is
shortstop. Yeah.
O'Hearn? O'Hearn's also.
I think
righty?
he's 12. It's gonna make me type in this. 31.
Oh, he's also. I didn't realize he threw up.
I don't remember if. Dang it. I didn't think he lefty, but I can't remember.
Down to Tampa Bay. How old is the two Lows? I know Brandon's older. How old is Josh?
I think Josh Lau is probably too old. 27, so he's a little bit younger than I thought. Wait, no, it's not Caminero.
It's not Balls because he's a switch hitter.
I don't think it's.
Aranda.
Yeah, it's not gonna be him either.
Is Aranda American? Oh.
Did I spell that right? I'm sorry, it clearly didn't. It's not loading. Oh, there we go. It's being angry. The second I back out of it.
His first name's Jonathan, if that helps.
He's Mexican, first base. It might not hurt to just guess him because we don't know. I don't know.
Who plays left field for them?
I don't remember. I know mostly they're.
Alright. Is it Simpson?
I thought he played in center. Yeah, he does play center.
Okay.
He might play in left, but.
Is it gonna be a reliever?
We should just guess a reliever regardless and see if it's reliever.
Tim Held is a lefty. And he's a Yankee, so it helps that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out there, even though he's too old.
Oh.
Let's just. It's not really a pitcher. All right. Oh, you know what? Because it said wouldn't it be yellow if it was starting pitcher? No one. Okay, so the good news is he's not really a pitcher, and he's not a Yankee, so it could be.
Nope. Jimenez isn't American. Their catchers.
Who's their third baseman? My friend just picked him up.
Schneider?
No, that doesn't. That doesn't sound familiar. It starts with. Ha! Oh my gosh! It might be. Addison. No! Oh, what? I was locked in. I was locked in.
Now that I saw his last name, I do that name.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Ooh. So it's Tampa, Baltimore.
I think it might be Baltimore.
Is it Colton Cowser?
It might be.
Cowser. See.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. It's gotta be him. It's gotta be, yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, we just listed out pretty much the entire lineup for Tampa, and Boston has too many young guys aren't American. So I figured it had to be Baltimore. So, Man, that was a good one because I really thought I had that with the Toronto guy, but
Yeah, yeah.
we got it.
Colton Cowser, what a guy.
Colton Cowser, and now we will move on to batter up. All right, sorry, Brandon Woodruff, I can't glaze you anymore. Good news is he can bat either way, chat. USA 28. He's not a catcher, allegedly. We do take the positions very lightly here.
Is this Duran?
I feel like that's a little too open for Duran. I don't know, though.
Okay, I don't think it is. Okay, at least. And an outfielder. Possibly.
AL East.
Is it Trent Grisham?
That does look similar. Yep. Nice.
As a Padres fan, also that swing.
You were dialed in there.
Yeah,
You were
that
dialed
swing
in.
is iconic. Played for.
Yeah, I feel like it's a sixth swing, and I was just like, Jaron, I don't think Duran swings like that. But Duran was a good guess because it got us locked in there. So, all right. So now,
28 years old.
That's kind of crazy. It feels like Trent Grisham's been in the MLB since like 1955.
Yeah. It feels like he's been there forever.
But no, it turns out he's only.
I'm like 20.
2019, I think. I thought he was a rookie when I was doing fantasy last, or did a real League of Fantasy.
He was 22 in 2019. Yeah. Apparently, he was a brewer.
Was he a part of the Hater deal?
Probably.
I'd be willing to bet that's what it was.
He's from Texas.
Shout out! Let's go.
Yeah, he had to be. He played 51 games for Milwaukee, and they got he had to be traded to San Diego.
I guess I can't think about another trade that Milwaukee and San Diego were involved in beyond Hater. At least that recently. But yeah, shout out to Trent. Good for you. Other than you're a Yankee. But we got our batter up. Now we're going to do our random team before we jump into ranking NFL teams. And we finally, I think we got one last time, finally get an NHL team. So as of right now, last time, let me pull up I think it's under notes. Last time NHL, both of us were 2 for 3. We're 2 for 3 total in NHL, so we are tied. This was, I did not write down the year though. Whoops. Avs beat Flyers. I think it was 1995. It was the year that, it was 95 or 96.
So what happened? The lockout?
When the Avalanche won the cup. When we last time pulled this up. I didn't write down the year when they won. So I'll need to update that. But they 1996. That's what I thought. I just need to update this really quick. But we're both tied in hockey. Both guessed the correct winner, but we both also got the loser wrong. So I guess Devils, you guess Flyers. But we will see what year we need to do again. I need to remember when the first year is again. First Stanley Cup Finals. I think it was 1918. Is that what it said? I'm sorry. Does that say 1894? Hang on. What?
1894.
There's a what? I'm not. I'm gonna count that as Mickey Mouse.
Because that was when there's probably only 16.
This is so that is a different association though. I'm not counting that. Okay, 1914 was the National Hockey Association. I want it as the NHL. Like as hang on, first NHL Stanley Cup Finals. They're not understanding what I'm trying to say here. I'm just. Yeah, it says the first Stanley Cup in 1918. I'm going to do 1918. I will do more research to confirm that later. And let's just hope it doesn't land on 1918. Let's hope it lands somewhat reasonable. If it lands in the 70s, I'm chilling. I'm big chilling. That's kind of what I'm hoping for here. But let me move this over so you can see what we randomize. So it's not rigged. It obviously won't be rigged. Why would I pick a bad year if it was rigged? Year 2000! This should be easy for the both of us. At least the loser, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So the loser.
I was gonna say, I do.
Loser,
This is one I
2008,
got.
2000 Daniel. And since this one's pretty easy for us, well, I'm just going to have us do a second one really quick. Because this one is not requiring any thought. I mean, Devils beat the Stars.
Beat the Stars.
So we don't even need to look that up. We know that one. We're both 3 for. I mean, I'll confirm it, but 1999. yeah, I know. But just let's see how many games it was. Do you know how many games it was?
I think it was 6.
I think it was 6 too. It might be 5. Yeah, it was 6.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it was 6.
Last 2 games were in overtime.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so yeah, we were 3 for 3. That one was easy, so we're gonna do another one because that was kind of a snoozer. But we'll spin the wheel again for a different sport. I want one that's gonna make us think a bit. If we get another one that's easy, then if we have time, maybe do one more, but probably not. Splish Splash, what a shocker! It's MLB. Alright, so we'll move over to MLB. 1904, the first World Series was 1903, but as I've mentioned before, we've already done the 1904 World Series. Also shouldn't put in 2025 because we don't have a World Series for 2025. So as a reminder to everybody, we're going off the year the championship occurred, not the season, the start of the season. So, which is why I'm cutting off for MLB. It's all in the same year. We're going to cut it off to the last World Series in 2024. So let me pull up MLB. Let's see if I didn't have it like added up, but so you were 2 for 3 in 96. I was 1 for 3. Let me just add you at 2. So you got 2. You're 2 for 5. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You should 2 for 6. You're 2 for 6. 4 for 8. 4 for 10. That 1903 one was brutal. See, 4 for 10, 95. You're perfect in 95, so you're at 6 for 13. Let's see. You only have 1 for 3 here. So 7 for 16. So you're 7 for 16 right now in MLB. I am 1 for 3. Oh, I didn't realize I got the World Series winners correct in 1976. Let's go. Flex, 3 for 6. 5 for 8. 6 for 10, because I guess the Pirates had them winning. 95. 8 for 13. 8 for 13. Yankees beat Giants. 9 for 16. So I'm at 9 for 16. So it's close. We're doing all right, chat, especially for the years we're given. So we're now going to move over to the year we're going to get. If it's 1908, you are done for. Not really.
You said 1908?
Oh, that's... we're gonna do a third one, and for all that is holy, not picking here, that's gonna torment Daniel. We're not. I'm not even. I know for a fact we don't even have to talk about it, chat. We're both 3 for 3 in this one.
Nelson Cruz should have caught it.
Yeah, see, that proves. That proves. Plus, I'm just not even gonna write it in. Nate plus Daniel 3 for 3. We just know. So we're gonna try one more of all World Series. We do that one. I said we were gonna stop, but like, come on, we can't go through 2 Dallas championship losses, including the one that is debatably one of the most painful ways to lose in all of sports history. So I think this is our second NFL one. I swear if it picks a Cowboys Super Bowl loss, I can't even make it. What next? The WNBA? If they even friggin' well, I could do Mavericks too.
I think the Mavs only won that or lost that one time. I think they've only made the.
You've lost 06. You lost 06 in last year. Yeah, rip.
We also lost.
Rip. So, but NFL. Let me pull this up. Yeah, to be fair, nobody was beating Boston last year. It was kind of inevitable. So it looks like you and I. Oh, that was thrown into NFL. That's awkward. I was wondering why. I was so confused. There we go. So you and I we're both 3 for 3 because we got 1979 Steelers beat Cowboys. So hopefully this is a sign that we will not get an NFL. What was the first Super Bowl year? Because we're only doing right now for Super Bowl, and then we might mess around and go back to NFL Championship era, 1967.
Pretty sure.
So I need to go. Like I said, I need to jot these down so I'm not having to Google it. And this time we will go to 2025 and share this tab, and we're gonna land on 2022. We're just not getting ball knowledge tested out here, chat today. I tried, but it is what it is. I will have to take a second to think about it, but it won't take very long.
This is one of the greatest halftime shows to the day.
So let me think about this really quick, since you already have it off the top of your head. So Eagles just beat the Chiefs. The Niners lost to the Chiefs the year prior. And then the Chiefs beat the Eagles, I believe, because the Chiefs were going for a three-peat. Did not get that three-peat. So Chiefs beat Eagles is my guess. So Daniel, what? The same thing? Oh, wait, hang on. You're right. Because I'm 25, 24. Oh my gosh, that was almost bad. You're almost bad. Yeah. Thank you for calling that out.
You made me second guess.
No. Holy crap. This would have been. Oh no. No. Yeah. Rams beat Bengals. Yeah. At first I was like, wait. See, I was confusing myself because I was like, wait, if it was a great Super Bowl halftime show, why am I guessing a Chiefs Super Bowl? All right, we're both 3 for 3. I technically didn't lock it in, chat. So
close.
I'm counting it. I will, how about this? I'll put an asterisk next to that. I'll put an asterisk next to my score. But I had not Googled it, so that'll be like the rule. 2022 Super Bowl. I'll look it up. Rams beat Bengals. So we're both 6 for 6. Yeah, 23-20. And friendly reminder, had Joe Burrow been given a 1/32nd of an additional second, he had Jamar Chase wide open.
Yeah.
He should have been looking there the whole time, to be fair. Like, on that play, I would just be like, I don't care. I'm throwing it to Jamar. And if we screw it up that way, so be it. But, oh well. But we did get in 3 because we tried to get a hard one, but I did make it a little interesting, I guess, for content. But on that last one, but yeah, we will be moving on to our next bit, which is going over to. I'll go over to just NFL standings and just share that. Ranking teams that are most likable to least likable. And so really just kind of debating if a team were to win a Super Bowl now, would we like it? Would we dislike it? Would we literally have no opinion on it? And so just some of the factors, as we mentioned, fan base is probably the biggest driving factor. Players, do we like the players on the team? Do they have a good history? Have they won a lot of Super Bowls or even divisions and recent regular season success? Anything goes. Even stadium. If you have a big dump of a stadium, you suck. And that will lead into the first team I'm picking, by the way. But as a reminder, once again, the list we put together so far, let us know in the comments on Instagram if you agree or disagree with any of these. Jags are first. Texans, Lions, Panthers, Cardinals, Chargers, Falcons, Colts, Titans, then Vikings topping out the top 10. Browns might be controversial, but Deshaun Watson literally brings them down like 5 spots. So sorry, not sorry. Commanders, Bucks, Miami, and then Buffalo right in the middle. Actually, no, Bengals are right in the middle. Broncos, Seahawks, Ravens, and then the Rams top out the last top 20. And now we're starting to get into teams that people would dislike more or might be a little bit controversial. The last week's episode was, last time we recorded this anyway, was Saints, Packers, Jets, and Giants. So, I'm starting things off. Gonna go Bears here. Chicago, massive market, so you're naturally going to be hated just because of that. But I think just due to the fact that they have just so little recent success, they struggle to draft a quarterback to save their lives. I mean, there's a joke that the Chicago Blackhawks drafted a 4,000-yard quarterback passer in this most recent NHL draft before the Chicago Bears did.
Yeah.
Just an organization that really struggles to find the biggest component to leading a franchise to a championship. They don't seem to have issues on the defensive side of things, and for the most part, it doesn't seem like people have issues with the guys on the defense. That's a good call out, typing out the teams left. But I think it's really just comes down to the fan base and just constantly reminding people how good 1985 was, having to hold on to every last little bit that they can. Is it one of the most dominant teams ever? Absolutely. Debatably, I personally think greatest team of all time, but people could debate otherwise. But yeah, I think it's just not a fan base people particularly like, just for, riding on that. And then just on top of that, they constantly glaze how good their offseason is. They constantly overproject what they're going to do, only to end up going 5-12 every year. So, yeah. So, and then on top of that, you do a lot of smack talking in division when Green Bay just owns Chicago every single year. It's hard to watch. But, yeah, I think just ultimately is a little surprising they've fallen this low because of the recent success. But I think just when you're in such a big market, even just not having any championships, it doesn't matter. You're in the third biggest city in America. You're going to get a lot of hate. So you're going to fall a lot because of that. So, but I figured the bleeding had to be stopped. I just can't justify any team left based off recent success or just fan base in general that would be constituted as worse than them. So, where are you going with 26?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
It's
you
hard.
took the pretty easy one off the board. I feel like I can't take the Raiders because just the fact that they moved pissed off a whole city. Their fans can rub people the wrong way, and they haven't been successful. I will say there has been a little bit of controversy with also Brady becoming a part owner. So like I feel like there's just a lot of clouds to put them here.
It's hard though.
Eagles, Cowboys have horrible fan bases. Uh,
This is really hard at this point.
Pats, people just hate the Patriots because of the Patriots.
Recent success is just going to leave people traumatized for years, so
I'm gonna
they can't be.
I'm gonna
This is
put the
hard.
Steelers.
Okay, that's probably fair.
Um, I
I'll
just feel like since since they're Super Bowl ready, and now that Roethlisberger's gone, I feel like a lot of and now Pickens is gone, the menace on Pittsburgh. I feel like that team is a little bit more likable the last couple of years. Russ going there. Um, now you got DK. Uh, JJ's a great no, not JJ. PJ is a great player. Um, yeah, I feel like this is a solid spot for them. I feel like out of the 6 teams that we have left, it would be them or another team that I'm thinking of on this list would probably be the next two. I just feel like
yeah.
there's 4 on this list that are one just because of recent success. I mean, we talked about they were going for a three-peat. People are going to hate them, and because not only are they did they lose a three-peat, but they're still going to be good as long as Andy Reid is at the helm. I mean, and even without him, but that team is just too good for people not to hate at this
100%.
point. People want anyone else out of that AFC. And so, I mean, the Pats, Eagles, Cowboys, people hate all of them. So I feel like the Steelers are probably the best option.
It's getting really
They have a
hard.
great field name, Heinz Ketchup, so we'll give them some credit for that.
Well, there's controversy with their stadium name because I know a lot of Steelers fans prefer Three Rivers. At least a lot of the old heads. So I thought Heinz is a great name, but when you talk about my buddy's dad, who grew up in Pittsburgh and worked there for a long time, he prefers Three Rivers. So and it sounds like a lot of them do. So, but that's neither here nor there. That doesn't really affect a ranking. I think it was totally fair to put Steelers there. It's really hard to pick Steelers just because they are literally the Kardashians of the NFL. I mean, the amount of drama that surrounds this organization is just unbelievable. I mean, every receiver they select is just a diva beyond their wildest belief. Antonio Brown being the biggest one of them all. Mike Tomlin, I'm not the biggest fan of because I think he's a cheerleader head coach. He's not, he's a phenomenal coach.
Not
His
an
problem
eight.
is he's
Yeah,
really bad at discipline.
not
But
an eight.
yeah, but he's and that's his other thing. I mean, it works. It works, but I mean, he just when you allow guys streaming on the phone in your locker room, saying "f this team," and then you go up against a guy that's the most disciplined person on the planet. That kind of rubs people off the wrong way. I feel like but ultimately, this was the right choice considering how much hate everybody gets left on this list.
Yeah,
This is where it gets really, really hard. I mean, you're just talking probably about 95% of the community hates the rest of these teams. Ultimately, the next one I'm going to go, this might be a little. This comes down to one factor. I'm taking the Raiders. It's success. I get that the Cowboys probably, technically in our lifetime, the Cowboys have had less success. Raiders have at least made a Super Bowl and won more than one playoff game, but I mean, these guys have just gone through it. This fan base, as much as I don't like them, I gotta give them credit. Extremely loyal, probably the most loyal ones out of anybody here. The issue with them is just they're insane. These guys are insane, and that can, that passion can rub people off the wrong way. And I think it's why it's let them fall so far. But I think my other factor is, maybe this is probably not, affects me biased a little bit, but with the John Madden dying a couple years ago. But he's a legend, and I respect John Madden a great deal, and I'd assume most people do. So I think that's just another reason. A lot of people just can't really say they even respect anybody on the rest of these lists. Any teams left here, minus maybe one or two guys, or unless if you're a fan, of course. Maybe there's a few people that respect Brady. Maybe there's definitely a lot of people that respect Andy Reid. But really, that's about it that I can think of. But yeah, this one was hard. But I just can't justify picking anybody else over the Raiders here at this point. I just, the rest of these last 5 teams get so much hate. And the Raiders probably would too if they were successful. But the fact that they're not in the last 20 years is what led me to pick them here. So, yeah, rip Oakland fans. Sorry you lost your team to Vegas. I hate that they did that to you, but it makes more sense for you to move than the Chargers. So, whatever. But all right, Daniel. Good luck.
Yeah.
I think I know who you're gonna take, but I'm not. I'm gonna see what you do.
I'm looking something up really quickly.
Man,
Just to double check.
this is just impossible.
I feel like I have to put the 49ers here.
Yep, I figured. Yeah, that's what I would have done too, to be honest.
I think recent success puts them above the Chiefs, just in the fact that they haven't had as much.
Lost 2 Super Bowls to
Yeah,
them.
they've lost 2 Super Bowls. Honestly, I feel like a lot of their team is pretty likable, except maybe a couple of divas. I mean,
Kaepernick.
Brock Purdy being Mr. Irrelevant and being the guy that he is. I feel
Yeah.
like that's just the guy that I naturally just root for because everything was stacked against him, and he has turned out to be the guy he always knew he was going to be, and making people pay for passing him. I like Shanahan as coach. I think he brought a new style to the 49ers that was much needed. There are some things that can be controversial about him and the way that he does different things, but I feel like overall they're less hated than the Chiefs, and I think at this point that's the way you have to rate it. Like, they're going to be hated, but I feel like they're less hated than the teams we have remaining. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna. It's not fun to put them here, but they're the least out of the ones left.
Yeah, next week is going to be outright impossible.
Yeah.
I like it. Before we started this, I said, we're in the clear. It's going to get a little bit easier. That was a total lie. These final 4 are just going to be impossible. I have a vision of what I think should happen or could happen, but I just, knowing the NFL community, at this point, any of these 4 teams could be ranked in any order, for the most part.
Yeah.
There's one team that I think should be in the top 2. That beyond that, it's gonna be a nightmare. So, but for now, just a quick summary. The 4 we took today were the Bears, Steelers, Raiders, and 49ers, which leaves us with Cowboys, Eagles, Chiefs, and Patriots. Once we get that done, we're going to go through the same process, but with NBA, which to me should be a little bit easier. Really isn't a lot of storied franchises for the most part. It's just a league that's been driven by 2 organizations for the most part, at least back in the day, and somewhat now. So it's really not gonna. It's gonna be a little bit easier in that sense, but it might be harder in the sense that there are more teams that people like and don't have as big issues with. So there are gonna be teams that fall for that. But for now, we are going to make our way over to. I got to find our schedule here. We're gonna move over to. Let's see. What do we want to do first? Let's cover NHL first. So we have some free agency signings. I think we'll just talk. We'll just bring all these up and just discuss which ones we what fits we like, what fits we don't like, and maybe what move surprised us the most. And then I'll summarize. You can maybe summarize how you feel about Dallas's offseason. I'll talk briefly about Chicago's. And then maybe another time we can talk about Pittsburgh. So first signing was Nikolai Ehlers. Wasn't the first, but it's the first one I have on our list. Nikolai Ehlers going to the Hurricanes for 6 years, roughly around $8.5 million. So that was a big signing there. That was probably the biggest name, or one of the biggest names on the board. Mikael Granlund leaving San Jose for Anaheim, 3 years at $7 million. Panthers signing everybody, so they signed Sam Bennett to an 8-year deal. They brought back Aaron Ekblad, 6 or 7 years. Brad Marchand, that was probably really briefly for me was the most surprising based off of term. That or the Tanner Jeannot deal to Boston for 5 years for a fourth line grinder. Little based, but Rangers signing Gavrikov, a 7-year deal. I think that'll be a good pairing with Adam Box. Carolina extending Logan Stankoven, 8 years, $6 million. Carolina was busy. They made a lot of big headliner moves. Carolina doing the sign and trade with the Rangers to acquire K'Andre Miller. Rangers got a couple firsts and more, but really it's mostly about the first round picks. So those are like the biggest signings. We could go over more. And Brock Besser, that was the other one. Brock Besser getting re-signed by Vancouver to a 7-year deal. Little over $7 million AAV, I believe, somewhere around that range. So, and then and you mentioned, I can't believe I overlooked this. Vegas acquiring Mitch Marner via a trade. I forgot who they ended up trading. I think it was Nick something.
Patrick, no, yeah, it's who was it? I think it was Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh is a Hall of Fame
No, that's the
goalie. NHL Marner trade. It's gonna bother me. We're committed now. Oh wait, it is Waugh. Nick, we were both right in a sense. It was Nicholas Waugh.
I know.
All right.
I knew the last name was Waugh.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what they did, but then Vegas gave him $12 million a year on an 8-year deal. So that's honestly, it sounded like he could possibly even get 13 or 14. So good for Vegas in that sense. And then the last signing you mentioned was Brent Burns to the Avs on a 1-year deal. So, since I'm talking already, I'll go on my most surprising move I liked and move I dislike. Move I dislike was the Brad Marchand contract. I think short term this will be good for Florida, and as long as they want to compete for more cups, I'm not a big hater on it. Me and Blake have always been against giving older guys longer term deals, and in Florida giving him 5 years at the money he's getting, he's going to be paid till he's 41. And that's going to cost you a pretty penny. Granted, cap space is going to go up big, so it won't hurt him long term. And, they didn't give him a ton of money, but personally, I just don't like giving out contracts like that. I don't know if there's a movement clause on it or not. Yeah, I think I'd be better with it if there wasn't, or if it was a modified one. But I'm just not a huge fan of this move. Ultimately, though, they're the defending Cup champs, so I gotta give credit where credit's due. That hindsight, it probably is a decent move, at least for the first 2 years. So we'll see how Marchand ages. Some guys age great, some guys age really poorly. Marchand played great in this Cup final. He's 35, 36. So the move I liked was Stankoven. Carolina, I mean, kind of banking on a younger guy. I mean, obviously, giving him 8 years could argue hindsight could be a little risky because he's not fully proven, right, as like a star per se. But he fit in Carolina quite well. Loved him in Dallas. Loved him in Dallas, of course. But he's shown that he's capable of being that guy on the first and second line for them. So getting him at $6 million a year now, locked up while he's 22, is a great deal in my eyes. Now, of course, again, could age poorly. So, but I think this is a good move for Carolina. They finally got the guy that they wanted out of the Mikko Rantanen mess. And hindsight probably fit him out for the best because Rantanen was going to cost you at least $4-5 million more. So if I'm Carolina, I'm not too mad about that. And then biggest surprise, gonna go Tanner Jeannot. You're paying a fourth liner $3 million for 5 years. I mean, that just reeks of desperation, and it's just another contract for Boston that's going to be hard to move. I'm personally a big fan of Jeannot, because I have him in fantasy his rookie year when he scored 20 goals and threw like 300 hits. So he's a good physical presence. He kind of fits in with Boston being a more physical team. But, yeah, I just gave him way too many years and way too much money. But you never know. So what are your biggest takeaways of these signings? What did you like? What did you not like? What surprised you?
Yeah, I feel like the Granlund one, I don't know if I don't like it or if I'm surprised or a little bit of both. I feel like Anaheim spent too much on this one. Granlund isn't a top line guy. I mean, for Anaheim, he's going to be, but he's normally not a top 3 forward. He's usually second, third line, and a solid piece. But I feel like $7 million for that is extending it a little bit. I mean, Ehlers got 8.5, and he's a first line guy. And so I feel like you're paying a little bit much. Granted, it's only 3 years, so not a whole. You're not bogged down with the contract in a couple years. It'll be most likely a pretty easier one to move, just in the fact that if Anaheim isn't competitive in his third year, there will once again be teams knocking, as long as he's still producing like he has. I'm gonna say the best signing of free agency is the Avs making the Brett Burns one. The dude's like 41 at this point, and if you're gonna bank on him helping your defense, as a Stars fan, I feel like that's pretty good. Because he's older, plays in a central that's going to beat him up. Stars have speed. Stars can do different things, and I feel like there's a lot better guys out there, younger, that we could have gone for, traded for. I mean, Rasmussen has been a name that's been swirling in the trade rumors. So like, there's just different options that I feel like they could have gone. But as a Stars fan, love this deal because they just got older, and they're already an older team behind like McKinnon and their young guys, but their D-core is not young.
Minus Makar.
Yeah, minus McCarr. Everyone else
is older. Yeah, there. For sure.
Yeah, and so just adding another 41-year-old doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I will say Brent Burns, for his career, great defender. Like him. But last year he took a massive dip from his production standpoint. Just because, I mean, he's old. In the hockey world, he's old. And so I don't feel like this is a good contract. I understand it's $1 million. But I mean, the Stars signed Colin Blackwell for $750,000.
Yeah, Dane signed him for the fat minimum. Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
The Stars paid Ben $1 million, and Ben's 6 years younger.
I guess thinking about it might be league minimum on a one-way deal because one-way and two-way. I'm guessing Blackwell's a two-way contract, so you can pay a little bit cheaper. Versus one-way, I think you have to pay close to $1 million. I could be wrong about that, but I do know one-way versus two-way contracts do work a little bit differently. NHL is really the only sport that does that, which I think is a unique thing that they do. So, but. Yeah, just well, do you have any other thoughts? What do you think about Dallas's off season so far? Some of the moves you guys made. I know you guys signed Fasca, and some people I've been listening to thought that was a little bit of a weird move, but I was curious what you were gonna think. So
I like Foxa. I think it may be a little bit too much.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's also only $2 million a year. I don't feel like that's a crazy amount. He's going to be our fourth line guy. The dude grinded with us as the fourth line, and I really enjoyed that about him. I feel like we can't judge this team yet because we don't know what this new head coach is going to roll out. He wants to be a little bit more physical, and has said that openly in his press conference. So I feel like bringing back Foxa. Foxa was physical. He's not going to get you the hits, but he's going to bump you. He's going to grind you. He's going to pressure you. And I think that's what Colin Blackwell also does a really good job at that. Did a really good job at the playoffs also, which is why he looked better in the playoffs than he did in the regular season because he got more minutes. But yeah, I liked Foxa when he was with us the first time. I mean, he's a homegrown kid. We drafted him, so to have him back is nice. You couldn't do much anyways. This free agent class wasn't crazy good. So getting a solid fourth liner that's going to help Bork and Blackwell continue to grind on that fourth line, I feel like. Or you can even put Ben down on that fourth line now. Just someone that can bring some oomph to that team, I feel like is helpful. Especially once we get to the playoffs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think there was one guy I was listening to who was just surprised. He felt like it was just a weird fit. The fourth line and just how tight money was for you guys. I think he was just surprised that gave a fourth liner that kind of money and that kind of term. But I thought, he fits with the system. Just familiar with the squad, obviously, and maybe paying him $2 million is a bit much, but you'll make it work. Obviously, there's going to be questions about whether or not J-Rob stays. That's the big thing going around for you guys right now. But as far as I'm concerned, as of right now, he is a Dallas Star. So we'll see what happens with that. I know Chicago is inquired about it, so I won't mind it. But
Anaheim's been the one that's, I think,
Anaheim's been the one that's been pursuing it for sure.
Yeah, they've
They could be. Yeah, and if you're going to trade in the conference, you're probably not going to trade in division, unfortunately. So, as for the Blackhawks, really quickly, we literally signed one guy that's a two-way. He's on the fourth from the Winnipeg Jets. I forgot his name because he doesn't really play in the NHL. Dominic Toninato. Now, the last time we signed an Otto, it turned out to be Ryan Donato. So, coincidence, I think not. Ryan Donato, probably my favorite player, not named Bedard on the team right now. But it was a two-way contract. And like I said, didn't play much. We also traded for Sam Lafferty. That was the other thing we done. That's the third time we acquired him. I don't get the obsession with him. I don't get the obsession with just trading him. Just make up your mind. Do you want him or do you want not? But it's a very quiet off season, and a lot of Blackhawk fans are pretty antsy about that. But here's my thing. One, it's a weak free agency class, and so naturally, with the few depth guys that are going to be out there, you're going to have to overpay for, and I don't want to do that, especially with a lot of young guys that are coming up. So I think it's just better for us to sit back, trust the process, and just hope the young guys take the next step. Obviously, the first line is going to be weak. They're projecting Andre Burakovsky, who we got from the Kraken, to be on our first line. That is not ideal in any way, shape, or form. But we're not going to make the playoffs next year. This upcoming season is just focusing on getting better. Just get past the 60-point threshold, man. So, and just letting all the kids play a whole year is going to come a long way. So I am actually okay with Kyle Davidson not signing anybody and throwing out money that's going to hurt them. Blake and I were listening to a YouTube video on the drive back from a race we saw this past Saturday, and it turns out 67% of the teams that spend the most money in the NHL in a given off season don't even make the playoffs. It is bad. You don't want to usually be the big spender. Free agency, you don't win through free agency. You really don't, at least when you're signing bigger names. You look at what happened last year with Nashville and Boston. They just spent all that money. Chicago was one of the big spenders too. Now, we were going to be awful either way, so I don't think it's fair to throw us in there compared to the other two who, spent to be competing for the cup, and they just flopped on their heads. So I'm happy with them not spending. The issue is, if they don't improve, Kyle Davidson just cost him his job. It's very bold for him to do what he did, to just sign one guy that's not even going to be on the NHL roster. But I like his boldness. I trust that he did the right thing. You just got to give GMs time. You can't keep firing guys every 2 to 3 years. This sport is a longer rebuild phase. And he had to clean up a lot of a mess that Stan Bowman had created, particularly with Seth Jones. So, should be an interesting season. Don't expect much, but if we can hit the 75-point threshold, I'd be happy. So, and then really quickly, the Gavrikov signing, good move, Rangers. Yeah, you got him. He's projected to get $9 million, $8 to $9 million. So got him at $7 million. And then Carolina, you overpaid for K'Andre Miller, but we always criticize Carolina for having bad off seasons, and then it turns out to be great until they make the conference finals. I'm not going to criticize him at this point. So I think the Carolina GM knows what he's doing. I think that's about it for NHL, at least this time. We'll talk more about other moves. There's a lot going on in sports right now. If people think it's a dull time, it really isn't. So it will slow down in the next couple weeks. Right now, a lot is happening. Really quickly, we're just going to go very briefly over to NBA moves and then just end the night with MLB. So the Celtics, obviously, unless if you live under a rock, if you're watching the NBA, Celtics had to blow up the roster. Tatum's going to be out the whole year. Jaylen Brown is going to need, I think he got surgery already for his knee. I don't remember. I don't think he's expected to miss time, but could be a setback there. And they were going to be well over the second apron. So they had to trade Drew Holiday for Anthony Simmons. Apologize, basketball fans, if I botched that. It's a name I can't pronounce, apparently. But they also got 2 second-rounders originally, but because of Drew Holiday's medical report that just came out, they don't get those picks anymore, so it's just a player swap. And then Porzingis was traded to Atlanta. Overall, we'll just... Yeah, that's just kind of what happened. My brain's just kind of crashing here. But Boston's kind of just in retool mode. Do you want to go over the KD trade really quick? We're not even really just going to talk about our thoughts. We're just going to just mention what happened and move on right now.
Yeah. KD got traded to Houston, part of a 7-team trade. Apparently it's a NBA record. Didn't even realize we kept track of that stuff. Another LeBron stat here on ESPN. The Apparently, there was 12 second-round picks moved around. Don't even ask me to tell you who's getting what, because it probably makes 0 sense, and it's actually crazy. So Katie's going to Houston. Jalen Green was the big one, the big name that got moved out of that to the Suns. Other than that, nothing crazy. No other crazy big names. Dylan Brooks also got moved to the Suns in that trade also. Other than that, nothing super crazy in that trade other than the 12 second round picks. Kyrie got an extension with the Mavs, declined his player option, but made it very well known he wanted to stay. Just wanted to kind of solidify a long-term deal. He got it. I'm happy for it. Kyrie's a good veteran leader at this point, which is crazy to say because I remember watching him when he was young, and it's crazy to think that he's a veteran. But good guy to help with Cooper Flag, keep him in the system, help develop Cooper. Also, the Mavs got Ian Russell in free agency, which honestly I feel like is another good move. Once again, we're going to be without Kyrie all year, or most of the year. And so having a veteran presence take over that spot, I feel like is a good option. In that, he's not going to have to be the number one guy, which I feel like in a couple other stops, that's what he's had to be. He'll have AD with him, he'll have Cooper, and then he'll have his two big guys with Lively and Gafford, PJ. So I feel like it's a solid team that's ready to make the playoffs, and adding a veteran guy like that, I feel like is good for a season. I think it was only 1 year deal. I could be wrong. It could be a 2-year. I'm not 100% sure.
It was 2 years, 13 mil.
Okay.
For D'Angelo.
Yeah. Halliburton, Pacers came out and say Halliburton will not be playing this upcoming season. Tore his Achilles in the NBA Finals, Game 6.
Game 7.
Game 7. Wow. Tells you how much we pay attention. Tore his Achilles Game 7. Won't play all of 2025, 26. Will be rehabbing for majority of it. So we'll see him back in the 2026 season. Unfortunately, he was one of the funnest players to watch in that playoff run. And just the constant jokes that came out of it. Chris Paul, currently a free agent, will be retiring after this upcoming year. What a career. I feel like he's played at every organization at this point, but good for you. Long career. Honestly, pretty successful career. Just never got it done, unfortunately. And then, last but not least for the NBA, we have Ace Bailey. Maybe he's trying to force his way out of Utah. Maybe not. We don't know. I guess we'll see. He scored 8 points in his Summer League debut. He shot 3 for 13. So bad. Is he trying to get out of Utah? Or is he just a rookie really struggling in the Summer League? We've also seen rookies struggle in the Summer League and then come out in the NBA and tear it up. So, yeah. We'll see. There's just been a lot of controversy around Ace Bailey since the draft and pre-draft when he was not going to work out for Utah and Utah selected him anyways. So just a lot of controversy coming out of that camp. So see what happens with that. Utah made some moves in the offseason. Can't tell you what they did other than I remember they got Kevin Love. But Utah's not going to be a playoff team.
No, they won't
this year. So I understand Ace Bailey being frustrated.
Well, you have no business, being that talented, crying about where you're going to go, though. So, respectfully, Mr. Ace Bailey, the best you can do is just ball out and prove you're the best guy you can be, and then once it comes time, you can dip. It's the second you can dip. So, you just played one summer league game. I'm just gonna chalk it up to maybe nerves or one summer league game can't judge a guy. BJ Edgecombe just dropped 28. So let's just call Philadelphia geniuses. They won the NBA draft over that. So that being said, good for BJ. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. MLB really fast. We're just gonna do really quick fantasy updates. I won 9-3. My ERA was 1.5. My WHIP was under 0.9, which is astonishing considering everybody. I checked everybody else. There was only one other team that had an ERA under 3. So I don't know how in the world my pitching did that well considering how bad of a week it was for streaming. The person I faced streamed Verlander and 2 other guys that I don't know why I streamed Verlander. That was stupid. But 2 other guys that they even last 3 innings and allowed 4+. So it was a bad pitching week for everybody except for me, where Zach Wheeler was a 1 hit away from a perfect game. Brandon Woodruff comes back from the dead after a year and a half of not pitching. A little over a year, sorry. And there was a quality start, 8 strikeouts. I mean, my goodness, Matthew Boyd, 9 strikeouts, 5 innings, and he had another game where he only allowed 1 in 6 or whatever. My pitching just clicking at the right time. So I did blow a big home run lead, unfortunately. I did win it 12-11. Shout out to my boy Willie Adames. I picked him up because Max Muncy went on the IL, and it was kind of a panic pickup. He got me 8 RBIs in 3 days. So let's go. It just feels like right now, although Blake is kind of kicking in the curb into me right now tonight. He's got a couple home runs already, but feels like right now everything I touch just turns to gold. It's just been wonderful. The only downside was, as I mentioned, lost Max Muncy and lost Spencer Schwellenbach. Most likely to the year. They said he could come back in September, but realistically, if that's your time frame, it just comes down to is your team competing or not, and if they're not going to bring you back. And as of right now, Atlanta is looking pretty bad, so I think he is going to be done. But if Atlanta turns it around, I might get him back, so we'll see. But my team cooked. I had over 120 total bases. I had nearly 50 RBIs. I mean, my team's on fire right now. So, how did your week go?
Not so great. Pitching wise, that was complete.
To be fair, like I said, everybody had bad pitching week except for me and one other team.
I had a 6 ERA. Yeah, no one decided to show up on the pitching side. I had 2 guys have infinite ERAs throughout the week, twice. Cade Smith had a 108 ERA. Yeah. So it was a really rough week. Offensively, did great. That's where I won my categories. I lost 6-5, but I won my categories out in the offensive side of things, which is crazy to think about. Bush had 4 home runs in 2 days.
Dude was killing it.
Cooked against St. Louis, and honestly needed that really bad. He had, I think, 14 total bases in 1 game, and his OPS, I think, was in the 4th out, or like 4s. It was crazy. I was out doing something, and then I saw ESPN on my phone said, or MLB on my phone said, Bush hits his 3rd of the game, and I was like, that's crazy. So, yeah, offensively did well, but pitching was which won't keep up.
That won't keep up, and my pitching will also not do that. My pitching, I feel like, is pretty good, but 1.5 is through 80 innings, by the way. 80 innings. Astronomical. I think I had like 4 guys go 8 innings last week. It was unbelievable. But so my guys aren't going to keep that up. That's just not sustainable. So, really quickly, loser team of the week. I'll go over that. Is the Yankees. You were up 2 in your division this week, and then just crap the bed, and Toronto is now up 3 on you. So, Mickey Mouse, Juan Soto carried your sorry franchise. Cry all you want. Womp womp. 27 ancient rings. Yeah, I did it for you. So I know you're gonna bring it up. I did it anyway. So last but not least, we're gonna mention a home run derby and All-Star game. So my boy, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. I know I've been saying Riley like half the time. Chat, I'm aware. I've been saying it wrong. And I apologize to my Pookie Bear on his behalf, especially since he got me 35 home runs pre-All-Star break. I should at least learn to say his freaking name. But Cal Raleigh, balling out. So far, we have 4 participants, I believe, as you mentioned. So, Acuna, because it's his home team. It's in Atlanta. James Wood was the other one. Another guy I have. And then Byron Buxton. Of the 4, we'll just make predictions now, but we'll do it again once we have the full list. Who do you think wins between the 4? I'm going Cal because I love Cal. But it could also be rigged for Acuna.
I'm going to go Cal, but I'm going to go Cal because he can switch hit.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I feel like whether this is true or not, the possibility of if you get tired on one side of the plate, maybe switching it to where you stand on the other could be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if that's actually true. Don't know if that'll actually happen. But I'm going to take him for that. I think Acuna could win it. I think Acuna... I mean, the dude can hit a missile. And I think he could win it. It's his home ballpark. He'll have all his fans behind him. So I think Acuna could take it, but I think Cal will win.
That's my Pookie. Yep, I think the finals is going to be James Wood, Cal Raleigh. No particular biases there. And last but not least, I need to pull up the MLB All-Stars. You got it? Okay, so you want to read those off then?
Yeah, so for the American League, our starters are Cal as catcher, Vladdy at first, Torres of Detroit second, Jose Ramirez, Cleveland at third, Jacob Wilson, shortstop for the A's, Aaron Judge, Riley Green, and Javi Baez, both from Detroit, and then Ryan O'Hearn from Baltimore. For the reserves of the American League, you have Alejandro Kirk, catcher for Toronto, Jonathan Aranda, Tampa Bay, first baseman, Bregman, Boston's third baseman, Chisholm Jr., Yankees. They put him as infielder, but he plays third mostly for the Yankees, but can play anywhere in the field. Brandon Lau from Tampa Bay, Jeremy Pena from Houston, Bobby Witt Jr. from Kansas City, Buxton, Juan, Minnesota, Cleveland, and then Julio Rodriguez for Seattle, and then Brent Rooker to round it out on the reserves. And then starting pitchers for the AL are Hunter Brown, which is his first, Chris Bubich, which is also his first, Crochet, DeGrom made it, Max Fried, Kikuchi was a surprise, Tariq Skubal, not a surprise at all, Shane Smith, glad he deserved it, Chicago White Sox pitcher that has been balling out this year, and then Brian Wu from Seattle. The 3 relief pitchers are Aroldis Chapman, Josh Hader, Andres Munoz. No surprise that those 3 relief pitchers have been the most dominant closers in the AL so far. For the NL catching, you have starters. We have Will Smith and Freddie Freeman at first, both from the Dodgers. Ketel Marte, Manny Machado at third, Ketel at second, Francisco Lindor at short, Acuna in the outfield, Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, both from the Cubs, also outfielders, and then Shohei as the DH. Your reserves, Hunter Goodman, glad to see he got it too. The dude's also been balling out this year. Glad he didn't get snubbed. Pete Alonso, Ellie De La Cruz, Brendan Donovan. They have him listed as an infielder, but the dude's been playing outfield all year. once again, another utility guy that can literally play anywhere. St. Louis, Matt Olson from Atlanta, Suarez from Arizona, Carroll also from Arizona, Kyle Stowers from Miami, outfielder from Miami, also has been having a really good year. So stoked for him. I'm glad that he got it. Tatis, outfielder, and then Wood and Schwarber rounds out the reserves. And then for pitching, you have Matthew Boyd, Mackenzie Gore, Kershaw, which was a legend pick, Mickey Mouse All-Star, Freddie Peralta, Robbie Ray, Chris Sale, Paul Skeens, Logan Webb, Zach Wheeler, Yamamoto, and then the relief pitchers are Jason Adam, Edwin Diaz, and Randy Rodriguez.
Yeah, those quite the names. Kershaw in particular,
Yeah.
massive Mickey Mouse asterisk there. I mean, good for you. But, I mean, if we're going to start doing this for everybody that gets a farewell tour, I can't count that as an all-star. Of course, that being said, he's having a fine year, and Kershaw's Kershaw. Yeah, he had a heck of a career. So, but really quickly, do you have anybody in mind as biggest all-star snubs? For me, probably be Suzuki. That being said, people do need to keep in mind Suzuki was voted as DH. That's his position. And the guys ahead of him were Kyle Schwarber and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
So maybe could argue he should be in over Schwarber. I would need to look at the advanced stats. Personally, I would have Schwarber in there. Totally not biased at all. But, Suzuki did have the most RBIs at 75 at this point and has 25 homers. That would be my biggest name. That would be snubbed. Junior Caminero, that was a snub that I noticed. And Ranger Suarez. I'm just listening, guys, on my fantasy team that were snubs. Ranger Suarez has a sub-2 ERA, and he did not get in. But who comes to mind for you?
Yeah, Michael Bush from the Cubs. I feel like this is the biggest one. I understand
sure.
Pete Alonso and Freddie Freeman are big names, but come on. Michael Bush has probably been, I think, even statistically, the best first baseman in the National League. So I don't fully understand. I understand fan votes happen, and Freddie Freeman got the start. Cool, that's fine.
Freeman shouldn't even be in, but
him not making the All-Star game, period, to start, I think is a total disservice to him because the dude has been one of the best, if not the best. He's definitely been better than Freddie Freeman, I will say.
100%. Pete should be maybe starting, but
you can make a case for Pete starting, and I would hear you out. And honestly, probably would be fine with him starting. But Freddie does not deserve to be on the starting roster for the All-Star team. I also think on the AL side, Jonathan Aranda should be the starter for the first base. The dude has also been absolutely balling out. I think Vladdy should be a reserve, and Aranda should be the starter. I don't think that is a snub. I just feel like it should be swapped. Some people have been making a case for Bobby Witt over Jacob Wilson. I honestly could care less either way. I feel like both deserve the start.
Mm-hmm.
So Wilson getting it over Bobby Witt.
Well, as a former owner is one and an owner of the other, it doesn't bother me either.
And then I'm glad to see Jacob deGrom make it.
Yeah.
I also feel really bad for Alejandro Kirk. Dude's been balling out this year. He just has Cal Raleigh on the other side.
That was brutal.
If he was in the other, if he was in the National League, definitely would be the starter. But
I did not stand a chance against Cal this year. No.
I unfortunately feel really bad for him because he did stand a chance.
Yeah.
Those are really the only two that I feel like either got snubbed or should have been starting in that lineup. I'm glad Ketel Marte got the start, especially being out of Arizona. Not many people remember Marte, but the dude's been balling this year. Just like he does every year, but I'm glad
Yeah.
he's being recognized.
Agreed. Really quickly, just looking at, I pulled up a thing on Reddit, biggest All-Star snubs. Looking particularly at weighted runs created plus. Um, so Michael Bush is at 166, so that's pretty freaking high to not make it. That's
Yeah.
a really good. And then the next two were Juan Soto and George Springer. Honestly, those are probably actually, and then Suzuki was fourth. Those are honestly, literally, probably argued as the biggest four snubs overall. A lot of people are saying Soto should have been over Tatis, and look at the numbers. I did see someone pull up. There's a big case that Juan should have been in there, but neither here nor there. I think he just didn't get in because he's not playing up to the standard of who he fully is. And I think that's what hurt him. So Juan will be back next year, though. George, though, I feel for him. Man has been having a year, and he got snubbed big time. Devers in fifth at the WRC Plus at 140. Didn't think he earned that. So, but yeah, those are a couple of snubs we got. So, any final thoughts before we head out for the night?
No, I don't think so. Oh, the Speedway Classic is coming up. For
Speedway Classic?
Yeah, they're playing Atlanta and Cincinnati on August 2nd. They're playing at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, they're playing at a racetrack. Yeah.
That's baller.
Yeah.
They need to bring back the Field of Dreams game. I think they should have made that a more regular thing. Personally, I'd love that idea. But yeah, the Bristol game that should still be really cool too. So I'll have to tune into to watch that one at least. So
Yeah, that one will be fun. I don't care about either team, but it'll be cool to watch it in a motor speedway.
yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's gonna be for a longer episode. We will see y'all later, and hopefully have some more next week. Get into more smaller NHL signings, NBA signings. Get in more details. Probably go more in depth into Celtics moves, and a couple other big moves there. So until then, we'll see y'all later.